My best month, I made like 50K in 1 month, which is not a lot, but
It's a lot for most people, like you said, bro.
when I started working, because I had a job, like when I first moved here, I was making like 20 grand a year. So,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like it doesn't really make you happy, like it gives you pleasure for sure, but then it's like things that just vanish, because you can ask me 5 years ago, what is the definition of success for you? And I'll be like, okay, so my definition of success is having more than enough money, being able to do whatever you want at any time you want, and be cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty much, like have your company, make, like a certain amount of money minimum, and I mean, do whatever you want to. Now my definition of success.
Like you wanted the Epstein list.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like I've tried to be like for a part of my life, right? Like more recently, I was thinking, I'm one of the good guys, I'm conservative, so I'm gonna support this. And I came here legally, right? I did all the steps, even for my daughter, I'm paying shit. And it was harder with some of the stuff that Trump did, right? The tariffs too. I buy a lot of shit like outside, especially for printing. But I was always, you know what? These are the good guys, and I mean, if we gotta suffer for a little bit so things get better, like I don't mind.
Right.
But then, I mean, like when they didn't want to release that stuff, and he said like, "Oh, people are stupid that are following this."
Yeah.
I was like, in my book, right? I mean, killing, stealing, and everything is bad. However, you always might have a reason to do that, right?
Sure.
But I mean, like, there is no reason or whatsoever to abuse somebody,
Of 100%.
like, and let alone kids. So
Yes.
I was like, shit.
So you wanted the list.
Yeah.
What do you think the list would have did though?
I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, just held accountable to some people and just to understand how they are. And no matter how powerful you are, you still have the consequences to it. Because, I mean, yes, I understand that the public, majority of the public, you don't really say things to them because not everybody is going to react well.
Sure.
But, I mean, as I'm saying, for me in my book, like abusers, like, and let alone for kids, it's just a no-no.
Do you think though that there's people on that list that if, like, let's just say mainly everybody on that list is going to be bad, I'm assuming, right? The people who abuse kids. Do you think that there's just so much bad in there that it will cause so much chaos, potentially, that like almost like catastrophic chaos?
Well, I mean, from some parts of the planet, for sure, and for like most of the world people, because it will be a shift, right? But at the same time, as I was saying before, I don't mind if there is something, like for a minute that you have to suffer, because in everything, even in business, right? The first time that you jump in, you might, have to struggle more. You might have to do more, but eventually it's going to get better,
Yeah. That's good. I mean, I backed off, bro. I like I said, during COVID, I didn't follow politics. So you've been here 7 years. So you came 2 years before the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
So before the pandemic in 2018, I didn't care about politics. I didn't care about Trump. I didn't care about Obama. I didn't care about Biden. I didn't care about Hillary. I didn't care about anything. I was young, no kids. You have a 7-year-old?
Yeah. No, 14.
14-year-old. Okay. All right.
I had it
So
when I was my young.
yeah. All right. So how old are you now?
I'm 30.
30?
Yeah.
So, when I'm going through my life at, 28, 29, I don't care about politics. But then I buy a house. My son comes into this world, buy another house, have a daughter. Like some of this stuff kind of like is impactful. But what happened is it's easy to go into echo chambers. Very much like a Patrick Bet-David. I love Patrick Bet-David, but it's still an echo chamber. It's an echo chamber of information that confirms how you feel. So when that happened, I was crashing out left and right. I walk into a building like, yo, you see what Biden's doing? He's mandating vaccines. He's doing this. He's doing that. He said if you don't get vaccinated, it's gonna be a winter death. Like I couldn't go into a place without talking about it. You fast forward to 2025 or 2024, and Trump wins. I voted for Trump. That was who I voted for. I couldn't stand by. and I couldn't stand by the Democrats in the
Yeah, I
sense
couldn't
of
stand Kamala. I
yeah,
voted for him too,
yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
No, I couldn't stand what they stood for, and if she had a just this much like common sense and wasn't just rambling and cackling and all that stuff, I think she had a chance. But I just couldn't stand by what they stood for.
I feel like they were really emotional. That's the problem, right? Because I mean, at the same time, even with immigration, right? I mean, like you got the birth rates declining. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, if you kill a certain part of like the population, you're never gonna recover here in the United States.
Sure.
You know, mostly because all the things like it's more open now, and there's nothing wrong with being gay, right? My brother is gay.
Right.
But I mean, into like a politics sense, right?
Correct.
I mean, that's new people that are born, right? Because if you're gay, you're not really, you know, producing. You know?
Sure.
So those were one of the things that I saw, and I was like, nah, you know, they're too emotional.
Right.
They're not like promoting, you know, like the family
Yeah.
and things like that. If they weren't so emotional about certain things, you know, like I would have, you know, like changed my mindset.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I thought like, hey, Trump is, you know, like Catholic Christian. I don't know. I'm Catholic Christian. I feel like they represent the values that I try to go in life. But I mean, I kind of like was let down, you know, like, and after that, it was like an opening for my mind.
So, and that's a good point. I don't want to say I was let down because I didn't have expectations. I just knew I didn't want 4 more years of what we just had experienced. Now, when you say let down, is it because of the list? Like what else? What else like let you down?
So as I'm saying, right, as an immigrant, right? I mean, and I did everything by the book. You know, like I had to pay like thousands of dollars, you know, tens of thousands of dollars, lawyer, whatever, you know, like get your papers. It was harder for me and for other people. And then I see also like that division mostly into like, hey, I mean, like you're foreign and whatnot, you know, not really here in Connecticut, but when you travel, it's more, you know, and I was like, you know what? It doesn't really matter, you know, because at the end of the day, this is going to be for the best,
Right.
you know, same with the tariffs, same with the other stuff, you know. But I mean, for me, it was more important, like, because I mean, I was like 2024, the end of it, right? Because 2023, I started being successful, you know, by the end of 2022, 2023, made a bunch of mistakes, you know, like you know, when you're young, you have a little bit of cash.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
listen.
you started like going out, doing more stuff. And I mean, I felt like I wanted to come back into being right, you know, or what I was thought that it was right, right? What my parents, you know, like raised me to. And so I thought like, hey, being a conservative person, this and that. But then like with all the things that are happening right now,
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, a letdown. And I felt like I was being too stuck up into like what I thought it was right when it doesn't really matter if it's right or wrong. You know, at the end of the day, you just gotta be honest with you.
Facts.
Because I was really, really, really trying to be a good guy. Like I'm gonna go to church. I'm gonna donate this. I'm gonna, you know, like try to stay away from, you know, like whatever I was doing before, you know.
Yeah.
And that kind of like I even, you know, like broke up with a few of my girls, you know, like and I mean like we had like this heated up discussion that, I mean, then I was like, damn, I defended this so much because I thought it was the right thing to do. Meanwhile, I thought I was smart, but I wasn't as much, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's that goes on both sides because one, the amount of information that we have at our fingertips is what pushes us one way or the other. And I think that in 2025, if I don't like the way the economy is and somebody says I'm going to make the economy better, which way I'm going to go? I'm going to go to that side. But if the other one says we're going to legalize abortion, for example, and the other one says that you know we're not going to legalize it, just, you know, which they can't at a national scale, but you get the picture. And I support one. I'm going to go that way. And then you get all the like micro articles and the YouTubes, the TikToks, the Instagrams, all that gets thrown at you. And it's very easy to compile all this information and be like, okay, well, yeah, no, screw that. Like, you know, you know, your brother's gay. I have I have gay friends, I have gay coworkers. But the LGBTQ push on children, I didn't like.
Yeah,
Like,
at all.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
for me, I was like 100% no. Like, that's just not what I'm for. I mean, and that's, if you look at that cabinet, if you look at the White House cabinet under Biden, that's what that was. You know, it was all hires based off of identity, and it became identity politics, which I feel like that's not the case on the Trump side. Will I say that when I say that my perspective has changed, is it's not because of any shortcoming, but what I'm realizing with politics is that the media is the enemy. Like, our phones, the TikToks, everything that we consume and how fast we consume it, we're looking for the next one. We're looking for something to confirm. That's the enemy. It's not necessarily one side or the other. And yes, they have their extremes, if you will, right? But I don't think that I think we're more manipulated than we believe. I heard something, and I've expressed this over and over the last couple of weeks. If, let's assume that we both didn't vote for Trump and we didn't know. I gave you a piece of paper, write down some ideas. And I said, hey, Christian, give me 30 values. We'll exchange the values. At the end of exchanging the values, we'll vote. We'll write down who we voted for. Let's assume we were on the opposite sides of the aisle, which 50% of the country is, right? One would say Trump, one would say Harris, or whoever the Democratic candidate is. But all 30 values are pretty much spot on. And that just shows me that people are, like you very much said, are too emotional. Very emotional on the outcomes of the what if. And that was me. What if Biden starts World War III? You know, what's this whole thing of him, antagonizing Putin and threatening Putin to, go ahead and do it. And then, the United States is going to get involved, but then Trump wins. And now that same rhetoric is happening against Trump. Trump's going to start World War III. So, my point is that I feel like media, news, and all that stuff really shapes us or conforms our way of thinking. And
Plus, you had like that whole red pill age, like when with Andrew Tate and other podcasters, because for the longest, right, like man was like, oh, I mean, you're not good if you are a heterosexual man, like, oh, you're a demon, like you're so privileged,
right,
like. So that was kind of like one of my things, and I think like that was one of my downfalls too when I was like starting being successful. Because I mean, at the same time, right now I'm a little bit more open minded and things like that. But I mean, you get for example, you start making 300,000, right? Yeah. Now you got a little bit more money than the average person. You start hiring, you got a little bit more time. And I mean, like you got the ability, right? I mean, in my case, right, you got the ability. You go to a club. Like I'm kind of young, I'm still young. You got the ability to choose,
sure,
right? And being faithful too, it's harder, right? Because then you got like different girls, Because I mean, like, you're young, you're reaching your goals, and this is not where you're gonna stay. You still have a lot of future. So those were one of the things that made me forget too, because. I mean, then I try to be, like I dabble a little bit into the Muslim religion. I had like 2-3 girlfriends.
How was that?
So at the beginning, right, like I'm Christian, right? I was born, raised Christian, Catholic. Like I go to church and whatnot. But for like a few times, as I say, with the red pill, I was like, you know what? I mean, one thing that I don't like about Catholics and Christians is like you can mock Jesus. You can
mock Jesus.
You can. Here in the United States, there is a bunch of people burning the
flag,
the Bible.
Yeah. But those people are not necessarily Christians, though.
No, but what I'm saying is like people can mock. If you're not Christian, people can mock. Like people mock you. There is no repercussion whatsoever. Okay. You got music videos, artists, like fanning about the negative side of Christians and Catholics. However, if you do that with the Muslim religion, I mean, you're gonna get beat up. It doesn't matter if you go to jail or something. You stand up for what you believe on, right? And then as a young entrepreneur as well, like the fact of having multiple women, like
so no longer Muslim.
No longer.
Okay. So what changed?
What changed, as I'm saying, like I was, like
in that respect, not in the Christian respect. right? When I think about, I'll give you some context as to why I'm asking. I've been someone who I got introduced to the faith of Christianity. I always believed in God because my mom, God sees you doing this. When I was young, I was, oh God, no, God, I would be scared, right? But as I got older, you tried to, especially with not having a dad, you tried to find what identify as some, who your identity is, what your purpose is, and all that, right? So at 16, I got saved, or 17, I got saved. But my salvation was based off of what I think was improper teachings. I didn't really develop a real relationship with Christ on my own. And I think, quite frankly, it's hard to, at that young of an age, unless your family's so rooted in the church and rooted in, which I think that also, that's another conversation I can have. But I think when you're so young, your mind isn't formed. You don't know what life is. I remember being in church at like 18 years old, and I sat down next to my good friend, and I said, Jose, everybody here seems so stressed and anxious and whatnot. It's like, I don't got no stress. I'm worried about what what homeworkers do, and so you don't really grasp that. I recently, in the last 2 months, have rediscovered my faith, and I did that by being inquisitive of like, okay, why would God forgive me for my sins? Right? I said, so God, I said, listen, I need to have a real relationship with you. All my knowing of who you are is from a pastor that I knew from years ago. Show me. So I've walked through that. So when I ask you, like, what changed in that respect, because you like the idea of having 3 women, and then you also, you like the idea that there was repercussion for...
You can stand up for your religion, which most Christians and Catholics do not do,
So you liked that, but you went back though.
Yeah, so I mean, like, one of the things that I found out, and it's just like, I mean, I was going through that red pill. I mean, a lot of things happen, I mean, yes, if you got women that love you, I mean, of course, they're not gonna be, I mean, most women, right? Unless you're from that culture, they're not gonna be fine of you having other girls, right? And you are gonna cause harm, no matter how much. Like, I mean, you can be like, no, this is okay, she's fine with it. I mean, like, no woman that it's gonna love you is not gonna suffer, right? And then I started having more people. Like, I would be at the bar, with a beautiful girl, whatnot, or even, at the strip club, you know? And I had guys coming up to me and saying like, yo, how can I be like you? Like, for real, right?
Yeah.
Like, straight up. And I mean, I was like, I started discovering more things because, I mean, what would I say is just like, hit the gym, go get some money, and stop being a bitch.
Right.
Like, you wanna get that girl, but what are you doing for it?
Right.
Like, besides, paying to play.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like, I don't, at this point in my life, like, I've go out with beautiful women, I don't have to spend anything. Right. Like, I even have like some girls that, I mean, I went to Cake Cup a few weeks ago, and this amazing girl just invited me, right? And she paid for that stuff. She was amazing, I mean, so, but one of the things is like people approaching me into like, what should I do, like to be like you? And then I started, because I'm a really private person.
Sure.
All my stuff is like private. And then I started like understanding, right? Like, I want to be a better role model. And when I used to be an MMA fighter, right? When I was in college and whatnot. And I had my posters. I was on TV a couple times. And I had like a little fan base, right? And I remember I was such a dickhead, right?
Yeah.
And I will always get away with mine. However, I saw a lot of people that look up to me that kind of like follow a few of the things that I was doing that didn't end up well, right? I got like one of my teammates and, one of my fans, he died, he got shot, I mean, my coach, my boxing coach, he passed away as well. He OD, you know? And I mean, like, looking at all of that, like my behavior, my effect. And at the same time, it's not like I have a responsibility with everybody besides my daughter and my family.
Sure.
But when you start growing up, you understand that, I mean, like, the community and the environment that you are around, are going to affect your family.
Right.
Like, you want your kid to be good. I mean, your community should be good.
Right.
you
Right.
know, like,
It's a good perspective.
yeah. So then I started, I mean, like analyzing a little bit more, you know, like I broke up with my girls as well. And I mean, like I also lost a lot of deals just because, I mean, like I was hiring a lot of people to do the stuff that, I mean, like meanwhile I was, you know, just playing around.
Yeah, yeah.
And it didn't go as well because you always need to be behind everybody as your business, you know, like even if you hire people. And so then I analyzed myself, and then I was like, I mean, and then what happened, you know, with politics and, you know, the list and whatnot, that I was like, because that was recent, right? Like,
Yeah.
and
It's prevalent too.
and I was like, maybe I was wrong. You know, maybe I was wrong. I'm not the good guy. You know, I'm not doing the right things, you know. I mean, so I started going back to church and just, you know, like try to follow my leads. I mean, I'm not dating anybody at the moment. I'm not really talking to multiple women either. I mean, when people reach out for me for advice, I mean, we sit down, we go to the gym and things like that.
Yeah.
I try to be like a more, like, you know, a better human being. And
yeah.
this doesn't mean that before in the past, right? Because when I started doing like the other things, like I donated, I think, like 10 or 12,000 a year, you know, like to different charities around town. And I mean, I thought like that would make me a better person, but it's not, you know, because at the end of the day, you still have like a small audience, you know, that look up to you and say like, hey, how can I better my life? And then this comes back into, to be honest with you, is what I perceive of success.
How do you feel now?
I feel like things have changed a lot, because you can ask me 5 years ago, what is the definition of success for you? And I'll be like, okay, so my definition of success is having more than enough money, being able to do whatever you want at any time you want, you know, and be cool.
Yeah.
You know, that was pretty much, you know, like have your company, make, you know, like a certain amount of money minimum, and I mean, do whatever you want to. Now my definition of success is have a little bit more than enough for providing for all your family, for sure. You know, I take care of my mom, I take care of my daughter. But at the same time, it's just about being happy. You know, like, and I mean, I was making way more, you know, like I think like my best month, I made like 50K in 1 month, which is not a lot, you know, but when
It's a lot for most people, like you said, bro.
when I started working, because I had a job, you know, like when I first moved here, I was making like 20 grand a year. So, you know, but at the same time, it's like, it doesn't really make you happy, you know, like it gives you pleasure for sure. But then it's like things that just vanish, right? Like you get that goal, you get that stuff, you know, like you hang out with this girl and then you feel good for a second.
Just a second.
You know what has made me feel the best for the longest, right? And it always keeps me being like feeling happier is being a dad.
That's it.
You know, like my daughter has given me so much joy that it's unbelievable, right? So I mean, like I'm trying to look for more things that are not so at the moment, you know, like, but just build something that I'm gonna feel proud about, you know? And that's, I think like I lost my way too, like when I started getting money and being more successful, because the whole thing about my company was I wanna sell something that I can sell to my mom, to my dad, to my grandma, and I'm gonna feel good about it. Right? Because it's something that it's not gonna be detrimental. It's not cigarettes. It's not, you know, like something that it's...
You bring in value.
Yes. You know, like even if it's a photo or a video, it's still something that it's like, oh, wow, you know, like, I mean, this makes me happy. And somehow along the way, I lost the track of that. And I just started to like, kind of like, being greedy and want more and more and more and just satisfaction. And then I just woke up. You know, like it was just a day, you know, like I broke up with my ex. I didn't even feel it, you know, like, because I mean, okay, I'm going to break up with this girl. I mean, I still have like, you know, like a few girls that are calling me and whatnot, you know, and I was just not happy. You know, like, I mean, I can go out with this girl. She can be like amazing, beautiful, 10 out of 10. You know, I'm just not as happy as I was, you know, like with my best friend, which was my partner, my ex and whatnot, you know. And then I started understanding, right? Like there is some things, like maybe I'll go out, I'll take a trip, I'll have fun, or I'll pay for somebody's birthday and they will have fun. And it was just not it.
Yeah. What was happiness like for you as a kid?
For me as a kid, happiness, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
Like I was also more innocent and easily impressed, to be honest with you.
Let's just say even 15 years ago when you were 15.
Happiness when I was 15, like it would be, like have that bad bitch with me.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of my point. I think that especially as men is that I talk to a lot of men. Mainly men are on my show, and men who deal with similar instances. I find that it's because they attach who they are today to who they were 15 years ago, right? Everything you just said has been a pattern of your life for 15 years, and you may have thought that it was going to bring you this joy, this happiness, if you will, but it hasn't. You probably heard it, that the love of money is the root of all evil. It's not money that's the root of all evil. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil. And I, too, when you start making a little bit of more money, you actually forget about the work that you've done to get that, right? Because you starting a business, which we'll transition to a little bit here, you starting a business, you're going through, you're probably at your most ambitious at that time. You have it all laid out, you know what you want to create, you know what you want to do, and you're going to execute, you're going to do it. And then the money starts coming in. You said $50K a month. Like, bro, most people don't make $50K a year. I'd say probably like 60% of the country don't make $50K a year.
Well, that was a good month, though.
But it was a result of your actions and your behaviors towards a goal. I'm building a business, right? So when you start accumulating, and it's easy to kind of forget that, and then you kind of go back and revert into some bad habits. And there's a podcast I had listened to, and they had an insert of who Dave Ramsey is. He's a financial guy. He was on a phone call with a guy who called into the show. And the guy was like, listen, I'm in my early 30s. Me and my wife make several millions of dollars. I don't know why I don't feel happy. And Dave Ramsey says, congratulations, sir. You finally met the point where money doesn't define success. And that sounds what it is. I think success does come from within. And it's nice to hear you say, hey, I went from Muslim back to Christian, because it sounds like Christian religion and that faith resonates with who you are a little bit more than the Muslim faith.
So one of the things that I came out here, right, is like, because I've been, like not many people like know my life to life. You just know like, hey, I'm doing this and I'm doing good at it, but somebody told me like, hey, you should be more truthful to it.
Yeah.
Because you never know who you are going to help with this.
Sure. And I agree. I'm going through a lot of things on my own too that, and I had some young man on my show, his name's Matt Brockett, and he talked about his childhood and being molested. And it was something that was happening all the time. And he was like, I don't know if I should talk about that. And I'm like, no, talk about it, because you don't know who you're going to help. You don't know who else is going through this stuff. So 7 years ago, Christian came to the United States from Peru with no connections, no network, and started from zero. Today, he's running a creative agency helping businesses with branding, social media, and AI. His story is about betting on yourself, embracing the grind, and learning what really matters. Christian, take us to the first days of the United States. So, what that was like for you, bro.
So, I just finished college, right? And, I was lucky enough to have my papers to be here, and I was like, you know what, let me just crash with my brother. My brother was living here, so I crashed at his spot. I started a job, and listen, like I was, even now, right, you can still know that my English is not the best, but I still can communicate. But at the beginning, it was bad.
People who live here and have English as their native language still don't have as good as English as you. So
thank you. Yeah. But at the beginning, it was bad, right? Yeah. Like, how can I communicate? How can I express myself? I got this job This was my first and last job. It was at Sears selling jewelry as a commission. My manager, Loli, she was like an amazing human being. He was really patient. He taught me a little bit about sales, which it helped me too for my business. And one of the things is I had to talk, because otherwise, I mean, I think like it was like $5 an hour plus commission. With $5 an hour, you know, like you gotta make that commission.
Right.
And so that taught me a lot. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a car for the longest, you know, like I think like 4 years or 3 years I bought my first car. But back then, you know, like she was super good to me, you know, patient, you know, she taught me a lot. And I was always happy, you know, like you come from a third world country. I mean, at the same time, it's not like, I mean, my family was good, you know, back in Peru. It's not like we're, you know, living in poverty or whatnot.
Sure.
But it's still a third world country, right? So whatever you make here, you know, $1,000 back in Peru was like 3,500 soles.
Wow.
So, I mean, like I was still happy, you know, and I was always grateful for everything that I had because it was something new. But I mean, like, unfortunately, Sears closed. So once they closed, I mean, I had a little bit of money, and I went back to Peru just to visit, and then I came back. But I was like, you know what? Let me do my company full time. Because I was just like dabbling a little bit, you know, I mean, getting clients every now and then, but it wasn't a full-time thing. And I mean, my company actually started as a pun when I was in college with one of my friends, right? I mean, we were like, oh, we do publicity and we're creative. So we're the public creatives.
I like that.
Yeah, so that's how mostly started when I was, you know, in college. My company started when I was in college. And then I brought it here. I set up, you know, the name, the LLC. Now we're trying to, I'm gonna switch it to S corp, you know, just for the taxes.
Sure.
But that's how it started. And I mean, like I was growing little by little. I had like a lot of help, you know, with my brother. He's one of the key people here, you know, like I trust him with my life, you know. My life insurance policy is under him,
Good.
you know. So,
Good.
but I mean, yeah, I mean, I started seeing some other side of here, right? Because Peru, it's a little bit more different. I would say like there is more crime. Well, I mean, that's debatable if you go to New York or if you go, you know, but here in Connecticut, you know,
Yeah.
this beautiful little community that, I mean, like just taught me that I can trust my neighbor.
Yeah.
That I should support my community.
Yeah.
Right? That's how good it is. One of my clients, and I mean, like she's so good, you know, like she's kind of like our sister. But and even when I was on the red pill stuff, you know, if there was a woman that I would shut the fuck up and listen, it was her. You know, like my client Ty, she started to teach me about giving back to the community. Oh, brother, I mean, like you're going well, you're being successful, you should start giving back.
Yeah.
Which I mean, at the time, I didn't realize how much joy it would like give me back later on, and I don't know why, but now I mean, like it's hard to make me happy, but I feel happy when other people are happy, or you know, or like providing for other people makes me happy.
Sure.
I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
So it started something like that, and then I started growing. I was making. I had a mentor. His name was Steve DeLuca when he was alive. He had like multiple boats, you know, like he had a yacht, like a few cars, you know, like 1,000 horsepower car, you know. So I mean, like he kind of like helped me out a little bit into like understand how to, you know, associate with people that have money, right? And I remember once I was helping him with one of his speedboats. We were in an old Saybrook, and at that time, right, he already passed away, but we were helping. It was late. I was gonna take an Uber. I used to Uber everywhere. He was like, you know what? Let me just give you a ride, right? So we hop in the 911. We're coming back home. He was trying to give me an offer, right? So I can be his assistant or whatnot. So back at that time, I wasn't making that much. I think like I was making like 4 or 5 grand a month. And so I told him and I showed him, hey, this is my QuickBooks. This is kind of like how much I make if you want to. You should pay me at least this.
Yeah, right.
Like, and it's here on my QuickBooks. So then he flipped, right? For some reason, I bet like it was medication or whatnot. He flipped. He flipped. He was like, "Bro, you're full of shit.
For
Like
real?
why are you trying to scam me? Like how can you?" And I was living on Ocean Beach, right? Like next to the beach.
Yeah.
So New London, it isn't so bad, right?
Right.
There's like really nice houses, but people have that bad stigma. But he was like, you know what? You don't have a car. You live in New London. Why are you trying to rip me off, right? Like saying like, oh, like. So the next day I went to, I think it was Honda, Cardinal Honda. I bought a brand new car. I think it was 2020. Then he still had to pay me, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
those were kind of like one of the stuff that, it made me like take a risk into like spending more money. But at the same time, I feel like those type of things also harden my heart.
Yeah.
Like as an entrepreneur. Because in my life, right, like the people that actually taught me a lot, like the most people that taught me a lot on how to be successful, were not necessarily the nicest persons. That doesn't mean that they weren't, like good professionals or good at what they did. But same, like, my other mentor who helped me from 5 to 6 figures, he almost like, I was like being held hostage, right? Like, because we had like a contract and then, like he was flipping out. He was the nicest person, but I don't know why is it with people flipping out of the sudden, like, so when he will flip out and I will be like, you know what, like, let's leave this at this.
Yeah.
And then he was like, we got a contract for 4 more months. Like I was making good money. He was paying me good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, like, I just wanted to tell, like, fuck off.
Right.
Like.
So you go. I want to bring it back to Sears because Sears was 7 years ago. You start your company after you get laid off? No, not after that. So 7 years.
So I came here, right? I already did like a few things in my company back in Peru.
Okay, got it.
So I was like 3 months or 2 months working at Sears. I set up, like, I think like I started as a DBA. And I started like getting jobs. So I never did this. I never went full my company and left my job. I was working my 9 to 5 meanwhile I was grinding to do my company, which is like, I feel like most people should.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you shouldn't leave your 9 to 5 until you're ready.
Yep.
And when they close, right? Because they closed. I was, what do I need to do? Do I want to keep working for somebody? Which is it's nothing wrong. Listen, like a lot of people like glamorize being your own boss or whatnot. I feel like that's BS, like, there's a lot of great human beings, like the people that do the roads, the people, like that serve you food, like that, those are huge, but for me personally, I don't feel like there's nothing bad with it. It's just like, I had a daughter, like
you wanted the freedom.
I wanted just to provide to my friends, to everybody that it was around, and no job was gonna pay me.
And you didn't want to answer it to anybody.
Well, I don't mind that. Like like I've trained MMA, so you always answer to people. You got that discipline. As long as you get a good leader, I feel like I'm a decent leader. So if you respond to me, like, I'm good. Like it's not like I'm a dictator. Like my guy was just like, yo, I need to get this place. I need like an advance. So like I pay, like whatever his rent times 2 was. I feel like if you choose the right people to be led, like it's gonna be good. I never had an issue of answering to somebody. It wasn't about that. To be honest with you. And it wasn't even about the freedom, because I don't know if I have a lot of freedom either.
Right. That is true.
But it was just like, so I can provide for my daughter.
Sure.
Right? I wanted to also help my mom. and I wanted to just, like my grandparents to feel proud of me. Like I never had that ego issue of like, oh, I'm not gonna listen to somebody. Even now, right? Like there is younger kids that talk to me, and I listen, right? Because I mean, maybe they are talking some bullshit, but I mean, in every lie it hides a truth. So I'm always open to what everybody is telling me. Not that I'm gonna do what they are telling me, but I'm always listening.
Right.
Right. And even now I have a system. So I mean, I listen to my brother for a lot of things because sometimes
Is he younger or older?
he's older.
Okay.
He looks younger now. But I listen to my brother for a lot of things because in the past I would get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, just like, I want to get this done. How we make this done? And I was just focused. I didn't care. I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't do that. And then maybe from like my team members too, I would push them because I'm
Right.
pushing myself.
Right.
Right. Like, what do you mean you got to sleep?
Right.
You're not like, we're doing this. I mean, I'm paying you,
Right.
So, I mean, with my brother, I listen a lot and he's like, oh, maybe let back. Like, that's not the right reason to talk to. So, I mean, like, I always listen to my brother, right? I mean, I don't want to, I mean, like, every now and then, it's not like I have all the answers, right? I listen to him. Like, even sometimes he gives me advice in clothes. I listen to Ty and Ricky as well. Ty was one of the people that told me, and my brother too, to help the community, which I listen. Ricky, one of my mentors too. I mean, he's great of telling me that, hey, you should go out, get more leads, do more stuff. And then there are other people that I look up to as well. Like most of my clients I look up to. For example, Dave, right? My client Dave, like he's actually, you know what? I need to change some stuff because he's one of the reasons why I decided to go back to Christianity, like just be with one woman, and like try to find that path. Because I mean, like Dave, he's such a successful person, but he has such a class, right? He's respectful to everybody. It doesn't matter, how much you make, and he makes way more than me too. He always treat me with respect. He has one wife, right? He never cheated on her. He never, I mean, like, even look at another person, he loves his kids, He has two beautiful daughters. And then I was like, you know what? That's actually what I wanted when I was not 15, but when I was 4 years old, 5 years old.
There you go. That's the answer. That's the answer that I was looking for earlier.
So I mean, like, and for some reason, I just got lost in the sauce of having a little bit of success, and then being with him, knowing him, kind of like helped me out a lot into like coming back into. I don't think that is right or wrong, but that just feels right to me.
Correct.
Yeah.
Do you like reading?
What?
Do you like reading? Reading books or listening to books, anything like that?
Well, I used to read more, like,
Most
but
people
now I read a lot, but just, like manuals.
Gotcha.
Like I don't really read. I read mangas, novels, but I mean, I read a lot, but not
like books like this or anything like that. No. There's a really good book. If you ever feel inclined to read it, it's called, and I've mentioned it probably 20 times on my show. I have 78, or I think it would be 78 or 79 episodes. It's called Outwitting the Devil, and it's written by Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich. And the concept of the book is that Napoleon Hill has this dialogue with the devil. He summons the devil in this dialogue about what makes people successful and what tricks does the devil use to distract men and women. And the biggest things we've already touched on: money, politics, and education. Those are the three things that very early on that the devil uses per this dialogue that distracts. Now, whether or not this is a spiritual devil or it's not a spiritual book, it's not a religious book, but the concepts of that book, very good, very spot on to what you're describing. If you feel inclined, read it. Anybody, I know I've said it a bunch of times, read the book. It's a great book because it's helped me also make sure that you are prioritizing what matters most. Family, right? Family and health. Really, I think those are the two things that go hand in hand to making sure that there's a successful life. If you treat yourself good, what you do, you work out, you eat well, you're going to feel good. If you have family, you have your daughter, that's most important, and that's where that happiness comes in. As an entrepreneur, an immigrant entrepreneur, what are the most difficult things kind of getting this business up and running to where you are today?
To be fair, I mean, besides the language barrier at the beginning, it's for me, nothing was really that hard. I think like the hardest part for me was just to stay inclined into like not going left or right, right?
Sure.
Like, so because you make a little bit more money, right? And then I mean, you want to go party, you want to go to a casino, you want to hit Miami, you want to hit Las Vegas, like, or you want to just go to the R, Colombia, like have fun, like I mean, just flex on people.
Right.
I feel like that's one of the hardest part, like letting go of that ego of myself, right? That, I mean, like it's helping me more to advance because at the beginning I was really humble, right? I was really grateful for everything that life, even till now, right? Like I'm really grateful.
You have to remind yourself, right, to be grateful of that, kind of like an everyday thing of like, I don't have this without gratitude. You know what I mean? If you're not, I often sit out on my back deck and I'll look around. I'm like, man, like this is, I can't embrace it from a like selfish or a like boastful way. And people come in, oh, you got a big yard, you got a big house, big this, that. I'm like, I'm just grateful, man. Like
I was just telling you that when
like
I pulled up.
I'm just grateful. Like I'm really just grateful because it's easy to get lost in that because when you are like, yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I know. You just start slipping back into that mentality of forgetting what it took to get there. And you said that, you actually said it maybe 10 minutes ago, gratitude. You're grateful. And I think that coincides with your happiness. Your most grateful times are when you're the most happiest.
Yeah. And another thing that it was good for me that I feel like a lot of people struggle a lot is like, it's not like I don't feel, right? I can be sad, I can be happy, I can be whatever. I just still go and grind. No matter how you feel, you always gotta wake up and do it. And one of the most recent things that I learned is like, don't make any decisions meanwhile you are feeling something. If you're feeling sad, or even if you're feeling happy, right? Don't do anything, like, oh, okay, yes, because one of the things that I was also, like when I started making more money into like hiring people, right? Spend lots of money on like just other people that just left, right? Or didn't work out. And that kind of like made me a little bit upset at the beginning, I mean, like I'm like, damn, I spent like all this money on this guy and he's just leaving or whatnot, or he's trying to like steal my clients or whatnot, which never happened because, I mean, I'm me and people hire me because I'm me.
Right.
But coming back, it's just like, don't take it personal.
Sure.
Right? Out of like 5 people or like out of 10 people that I hire, I have like now 4 people on my team. They all make me super proud. My brother too. My brother, he's a model and a nutritionist. But I mean, with my company, right? Like one of my things is like, I wanted to keep the money in between the people that I love, my friends, my brother. So I hired him from a year. I gave him a brand new camera with a lens. I mean, I spent a lot of money on him, right? And I mean, this year, he just won an award, for his birthday. I mean, and the exact same amount of money that I spent on his camera, right? Like it was like $3,500 or so.
Yeah.
And it just grabbed me so much joy because I was like, wow, I mean, like I hustle so much because, I mean, you get money, but it's not like it's coming from heaven, like you still got to work.
Right.
So it kind of made me proud. Same with my other buddy that he just, I mean, like rented a bigger space. So he's trying to now hire a few other people.
Sure.
And it's just that, pretty much, like, I mean, don't take it personal.
Yeah.
Like people are going to leave and go, but the ones that stay are your team.
How do you have that attitude? When I asked you, like, what was the challenges of being an immigrant entrepreneur, where does that attitude of like, it wasn't that hard? Like, where's that come from? Like the ability to, it sounds like you're disciplined. It sounds like you're pretty pragmatic in things that you do. Sound like you're a pretty organized guy, when you describe the QuickBooks and all that stuff. How's it come so easy? Because those are, even your communication and being able to have this dialogue back and forth, it's very effortless. And it's a skill set that I think in the businesses that we are, entrepreneurs, insurance, we're in the same kind of space with the same kind of people that you need to have. I think listening is a big asset that one person can develop. But how do it seems like all these skills come easy to you. How?
My life was hard, man. Like life was hard. Like I was like a teenager dad, you feel me? Like, and I was raising my daughter by myself too, for a minute, until I got help and whatnot. So, I mean, like now I used to fight a lot too. Like I was an MMA fighter, boxer and whatnot. So, I mean, shit, life was hard. Life was hard, like even when I first moved here, right?
Yeah.
Like, how much time it took me to go to place A to point B, to point A to point B. For example, like it's a 10-minute ride, right? In your car, you go back and forth. It's an hour for me.
Right.
Just walking. I like when I first got here, to be honest with you, like I used to walk so much. I used to have like blisters on my feet, cramps on my leg. Then I got a bicycle. I still had cramps on my legs, like out of all that stuff that I was just going forward.
But you could have like gotten rides and stuff, or no?
I mean,
did you put yourself through this with like, did you carry your own cross, if you will?
Well, I mean, there were people around me, such as my brother. I mean, he always helped me whenever he could give a ride. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'm my own man. Like I shouldn't put this burden into other people. That's lame. Like in my book, like I'm my own man. I'm a grown ass man. I have a daughter. Like I mean, shit, you just gotta do it.
Ego, little ego.
Well, I mean,
and I'm with you. I'm also like, I think in general, and I don't mean that's not a slight to you as a person. I think you're an incredible guy. Oh, when I say ego, I think
it's a good ego.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we tried to do and handle on our own because we are like, we can do it. We can figure it out. And, and we do. Good ego. So, I don't mean that in like a disrespectful way, but I'm also curious of like, was this part of your process to build you up?
The thing that I thought about it, right, is like one, and second, I didn't know many people. Like I came here not knowing anybody.
Sure.
So I mean, like,
That's
how
true.
many people are gonna give you a ride? My
That's
brother
true.
still have to work. He works. But to be fair, now thinking back, I just thought it was training. I just thought like that's gonna build me into a better athlete. I don't fight anymore. I don't do that anymore. But I mean, it was always like, oh, I'm gonna be prepared for when the moment comes. If I have to, walk, for 2 hours, shit, I'm gonna be fit. I'm gonna have that. And then back in that time, like I would like listen to stuff while I was walking into like, oh, okay, maybe like something about language, maybe something about like marketing and things like that, that I just thought it was a game.
So I love that, man. You gamified it. And then you also had it in the back of your mind where point Z was. So you're at point A, but you knew where you wanted to be. And all those little steps were just along the way to get to that where you are now. That's awesome, bro. Like that's incredible.
Yeah.
Because that's a level of grit that people don't have. I don't have that kind of grit. I'll tell you right now. I do not. I mean, I have a level of grit. I don't have that kind of grit. I wasn't walking around New London. I grew up in New London. I think the furthest place I walked in New London was probably New London High School to Coleman Street. You know what I mean? Like I grew up there. That's my hood. Like I literally from the age of 7 years old till 23 when I met my wife and moved out to Hampton. That's a level of grit. It's admirable because I think that what people who listen to this can learn that the whole model of givers gain, right? You have that givers gain model. Like, listen, yes, it's coming back to me, but I don't care about it coming back to me. I'm going to give. So I think that's one of the big lessons people should learn from you. The second piece is, put yourself through some hell, like, and have the mindset of that this is for something. Don't give up along the way. Don't like forget what your end goal is. It's not going to be easy. You probably had some setbacks. Like, for example, like give me an example of what money taught you early on.
Well, early on, what money taught me, I mean, first that I don't need to wait that much.
That you don't need to what?
Wait.
Wait. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So listen, money, you don't need to wait. I mean, I'm BIP. I don't need to make the lines.
I see. Gotcha.
I don't need to wait because I can get a car now.
Yeah.
So I mean, like those 2 hours,
Yeah.
it's like 15
Sure.
minutes.
Sure.
So and then this is the thing that money taught me a lot is like money can buy time. Money cannot buy back your time that you already spent,
But it can buy time.
but it can buy time. So and that's one of the most important things that I learned. And I mean, like with all that struggle too, I mean, I don't know, man. Life is so beautiful.
Life
Like,
is beautiful.
You just walk out here, you see like beautiful, like blue sky,
Yeah.
like, and even when I was walking or whatever, it was like just a beautiful view. Or then, I mean, like I would talk to a beautiful girl,
Yeah.
like that in my country, I would be like, oh, wow,
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
now it's different, right?
Right.
Because, I mean, you kind of like get soft and used to like a certain type of luxury.
Sure.
Like, I mean, now, I mean, I could walk. Yes, I could walk. Would I do it? I don't know,
Right.
Like, I mean, unless it's something that I want to prove or whatnot, like I don't even go inside the ring anymore to get beat up, I mean, and all those stuff that makes you a little bit soft once you reach a certain goal. And I think like that's what most people have here because they had it their whole life, right? In my country, you don't get food stamps. Right, I didn't even know about like the financial aid until like a few months ago. Like I mean, for some law that they are gonna take out, like the financial aid for people to like pay their house, and it was just because I got a couple clients, right, that I mean have like multiple rentals, and some of their people that they rent to,
Sure.
like they pay them through the state. So I mean, like those things kind of like make you soft. So I didn't know about it. It's like drinking wine, right? Like before you drink wine, any water is good. But now you get the sweet taste of wine, and then I mean, it doesn't taste the same.
That's a good analogy. What do you have to remind yourself of? Like, I think life is a constant that like you have to consistently remind yourself what your goal is, what it's going to take to get to that goal, what your priorities are. I think that helps the most successful people stay on track. It helps them not drift. I think that when you look at that, whether it be a fitness routine or a diet or a non-negotiable, if you will, what is that for you?
I remind myself that I'm a human. That I bleed, that I feel sad, that I feel emotions, that I'm not a machine, right? That, I mean, anybody in the street could have been me, right? I mean, like, if I get, somebody at a fast food, I mean, and I should stop eating fast food.
Same.
But that guy could have been me.
Yeah.
Like, or same when I feel like billionaires, right? Like now there is billionaires around Connecticut.
Yeah.
But I mean, that guy can be me as well.
Sure.
So I mean, I think like one of the things that I always try to remind myself, and this might seem kind of bad, but it's like, I'm not that special.
That's good though. That's humble. I think that a humble mentality is a successful mentality, to be completely honest. Anyone who sits there and boasts, and I'm not one that, I know a lot of people, and this is not a slight to them, but they'll post like the new cars that they get, their house and all that stuff. When I bought this house, I didn't take a picture of the house. When I get my car, I didn't take a picture of my car. I don't need any clout, from social media. And I think that a lot of people, and I think that's from a happiness standpoint, they chase that clout, that dopamine that people get from social media. I use it as a tool. I use it for my business. I use it for the podcast, but it's not for clout. And I think that the humble mentality is the successful mentality. We got a few minutes left because, again, we've been here for an hour already.
Wow, that's good.
We've been here for an hour already. We got a few minutes left. I want to talk about some business stuff, and we'll wrap it up here. Because this is some stuff that I think is important. Right now, right now, this moment today, 2025, September 5th, September 5th, 2025. What is the number one struggle you have in your business right now?
The number one struggle that I have in my business right now is time.
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, I hold up to a certain type of level, you know, on my business. And there is so many hours a day, right? And I mean, like I hire people, but at the same time, they gotta sleep, right? And before I hire new people, it's that training, and you don't wanna set them up for failure. So you need the time to sit down, educate them, and do those type of things. I would say like that's the main struggle with my business, just time, you know, and yeah.
How do you optimize for that?
Well, I mean, after hiring multiple people and, you know, spend thousands of dollars on them, it's like you need to write down your processes, right? Like you need to say like, oh, okay, this is how I do for this, like really detail, right? And then you can have people on those aspects that do a specific action. Because I mean, even if you're a graphic designer or marketing, you know, type of guy, I mean, like you gotta know what you want them to do. Because it's not fair for you just say like, just do this.
Sure.
You know, like no matter how much you pay them, you know, because otherwise they will do your company.
Right.
You know, like what's the point of you owning the company? So you gotta train them. You gotta be specific on what they do, and you also gotta prepare them and not set them up for failure. That's one of the most important things. Like, don't set up people for failure.
Sure. I love that. I feel like there's a lot that we could have unpacked. I had this whole outline of questions, but I think that going back to what my number one question was that I didn't have to ask is that you're a very good communicator, and you're very thoughtful in what you're saying. You're very thoughtful in how you approach people. I think the moment I met you, we had a really good conversation. You know, I love your work. I love what you're doing. I follow your brother on socials. I think both of you guys, you know, make a good tandem. You know, keep doing what you're doing. I think that gratitude is probably the theme of this show, and I think that's going to go a long way. So before we let you go, where can people find you, subscribe to you, even though you're private? Do you have anything unprivate that you can that people can find you at?
Well, listen, my privates are for female only, you know. But you can find me at Public Creatives, you know, all social media platforms. We actually do a lot of blogs and whatnot. And I mean, I'm down to collab with anybody. And before we leave, I want to give a shout out to this brand, because we've been talking a lot of like manly stuff and like how you are as a man. And I just got this amazing customer, right, from 41 North to Alicia. Shout out, you know, like we always work together. But there is this bar that it just smells like, man.
Can I open it? Can I smell it?
Yeah, that's for you, man.
Bro, let's see. You saying I stink?
No, it smells good, man.
Ooh.
It smells, so that's the vanilla, tobacco vanilla, you know. I'm a cigar smoker every now and then. Yeah. So
dope, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use this. Hopefully it gets me some points with the wife. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Listen, you don't want to smell like your wife. You want to smell like yourself, you know?
Yeah, this is cool. Thank you very much. So Malarkey's, this is the tobacco vanilla, and it looks like it's out of Colchester, Connecticut. So right up the block. That's awesome. Listen, this is the Open Exchange Podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow the show on YouTube, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you follow Christian. He does great work. And bro, listen, this was good. I feel like we can do a couple more of these and unpack some other stuff, man.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. Thank you.